All right, they brought Wicked to the big screen. Is this a movie that's going to defy gravity or bring you down? Let's talk about it now. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Wicked, or what it should be called Wicked Part 1. They tell you Wicked Part 1 in the movie, but the poster just says Wicked. It is Wicked Part 1 of two Wicked movies coming to theaters on November 22nd, 2024. This is the first half of the Wicked story. If you've seen the Broadway musical, which you probably have, who hasn't seen it, it's been out for like 20 years. It is a smash hit. Then you kind of know what the story is. But is this movie, which is a translation of the musical, which is a translation of the book, which is based on a novel, is this worth your time? My hot take is I think you should watch it. I liked it. I thought it was, kind of about as good of a job as they could do converting the musical into like a movie. It has a ton of great sets, like a really great spectacle, a fantastic cast, but as you imagine, the music suffers a little bit when you change Broadway stars into good actors, and it does feel a little bit long, especially for a part one of a movie. So I definitely think you should watch it. I enjoyed it. It definitely has a little bit of a different feel than the musical, but some of the music doesn't have the same kind of like gravitas and oomph as the musical does. So I think you should check it out when it comes to theaters on November 22nd, 2024. Oh, and you might be wondering, like, hey, it's rated PG. Is this okay for kids? Yeah, it's fine for kids. It's got nothing worse than the actual musical. So it has some action, some scary material, some very, very light innuendo. So I think it's fine for most kids. It's got a couple scary scenes. So if your kids don't do well with scary stuff, then they might, not appreciate that. But overall, it's fine. Oh, and also you might be wondering, hey, should I wait till the end? Maybe there's a stinger. There's no stinger. You don't have to wait till the end. And the actually the music during the credits is all instrumental, so it's the Wicked score, but you don't get to hear any cool vocals or anything like that. So I'll probably leave at the end of this movie. Don't wait for the end of the credits. But there you go. I'm gonna tell you a little more about the film, a few things I like, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a light recap, mostly just kind of talking about some of the new stuff that they added that I recognize. So if you don't know what happens there, if you don't want to know, what is new in the film, I would turn it off when I get there. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. And I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So if you don't know, Wicked is the untold story of the Wicked Witch and the Good Witch from Wizard of Oz. It is an imaginative story. It's an interesting story. It kind of builds on the Oz mystique, the Oz extended universe, if there actually was one. Apparently there is. And so it is a smash Broadway hit. It's got some amazing songs. It is a kind of fun musical, and now it is a movie. So things I liked about this movie. The first, I love the cast. It's a fun overall cast. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande do a really good job as the kind of like the main characters, Elphaba and Glinda. And also there's some fun surprises too. You've got Michelle Yeoh, you've got Jeff Goldblum, and there are some other fun cameos as well in the movie. Second thing I love the setting. They recreate the land of Oz. They add a lot to it. It definitely is fleshed out, full, big, grand. They do a really good job of like recreating the Broadway scenes into like a full-fledged world. Third thing I love music. Look, if you like Wicked, you'll like this music. It's all there. In some pieces, like I'll tell you about that a little bit, but all the music there, all the songs that you love, the story is pretty much the same. So if you like the Wicked soundtrack, you'll like this too. The fourth thing I love the spectacle. Like it is definitely, like I mentioned with the sets, everything is like bigger, bolder. They added some stuff to some of the scenes, like some of the school scenes. There's a little bit more during one of the like dancing scenes. They added stuff to it, so they definitely kind of like upped the ante for the movie as you'd expect because you've got a world now rather than just like a Broadway stage. And the last thing I love the close up. Like I love the fact that you can like look at the characters' expressions and see how their words like are interpreted. Like you get a better emotional sense in some of the scenes because you can see what the person looks like when they're saying. When you're at the Broadway show, I mean, I don't know, maybe you have sat closer. I have not sat that close, so I can't actually see what's on their face. And so like this gave me a nice opportunity to see how the characters are reacting when they're saying certain lines and things like that. So I did like that aspect of this. So all that being said, things I didn't love as much. The music, it's gonna happen when you've got Broadway stars being replaced with good actors. The music will suffer a little bit. I think Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande do a decent job. Cynthia Erivo, I think, does a really good job as Elphaba. Ariana Grande does a good job as Glinda. She kind of like recreates Christian Chenoweth's mannerisms and character and things like that. It's just not the same. And then you have some big disappointments, like Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard. Loved him. Fantastic. Really fun. Not a great singer. So all the Wizard songs, there aren't a ton, but the Wizard songs, not that good. Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible, again, fun actor, really good. There's a couple songs that have her in them. She's not like the main character, but they don't sound nearly as good. And then also with the way that they kind of like with the way the story develops, there's a lot of times when you'll have like part of a verse and then there will be some like scene interlude, action interlude, something like that that breaks up the song. So some of these like big emotional songs, they'll be building, and then you'll have like a break as the scene plays out, and then it'll have a little bit more of the song, and then you'll have a break as the scene plays out. And so it's nice to get a little bit more of that background, but it does make the song sound more kind of like sporadic. It doesn't have the same kind of build as you get in the actual Broadway show, where you do have a little bit of transition, but it's a much quicker transition overall. And the last thing I didn't love as much, it's long. I mean, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes, and only a part one. So, you know, they did have to add some stuff to kind of explain between the scenes. They added like one extra scene and then some extra, I don't know, meat to some of the locations and things like that. So it's definitely a long movie. You're definitely going to feel it. So kind of buckle up and sit down. But that is Wicked Part One. Like I said, I think you should watch it. It's good. It's a good translation of the Broadway musical. So you get some benefits for being in the movie, but a few downsides as well. So I just still think you should check it out when it comes to theaters on November 22nd, 2024. I'm gonna really quickly go into like a light recap, plus just talk about the like the scene that they added that I really love. So if you don't know what happens in this movie, I would turn it off now because there'll be spoilers. So if you don't know the story of Wicked, Elphaba was born out of a little tryst between her mother and this mysterious salesperson that drinks this green elixir. And I guess because of that, Elphaba was born green. And so she was rejected by her father. She was like forced to go be raised somewhere else. And in the movie, she has like a bear nanny that like raises her. So that was, I think that's something that they added, like they kind of like gave some context to how she was raised. She was kind of raised separate from the family. So she gets raised in that way. She's green. She's constantly made fun of, but she also seems to have some sort of powers because of this. And so she's able to like control magic, which you would think in the Wizard of Oz, magic would be normal, but actually magic isn't that common. So it's kind of a nice surprise for her. Now her sister Nessa is, the other child, her father's favorite. Because her father was so afraid of getting another green child, he fed her mother poppy milk, I think, poppy seed milk or something like that. And so that caused Nessa to be born earlier. Her legs hadn't fully developed, so she is in a wheelchair for life, but she is still her father's favorite. And so when she goes to school at this university, Shiz, I think, Elphaba goes as well to help her, to accompany her. And while she's there, she shows an aptitude for magic that gets the attention of Madame Morrible, the sorcery instructor. And so she decides to take Elphaba under her wing and try to grow this power that she sees. Now, because Elphaba wasn't enrolled, she has to find a roommate. And that roommate is this person named Galinda, who is very popular, very kind of like full of herself, tries to project this like caring exterior, but she is definitely full of herself. But through their interactions, they open up to each other. Elphaba and her butt heads at first, but then they start to become friends when Galinda like pulls a prank on Elphaba, but Elphaba doesn't realize it, and she then does a favor for Galinda to get her into this sorcery program that she really wants to be in. And so then when Galinda realizes this, she feels bad. So she then starts becoming friends with Elphaba, which then kind of like changes their life overall. Now, eventually they do become pretty close friends, and Elphaba gets an invite to go see the wizard because of her special powers, because her teacher has been like harnessing them. She gets an invite to go meet the wizard. So she goes to meet the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And when she gets there, she gets to the Emerald City, and this is where we have the new scene. So there were some additional scenes in school, like interactions between classes, a few, and they like the Oz Dust Ballroom scene was so well done. They increased the like dance numbers, they flesh out a little bit, and they made the like emotional scene where Elphaba comes in with her trademark hat, and everyone kind of makes fun of her. That had a little extra oomph because they were able to spend some time. Like they cut all the sound, and so it's like Elphaba up there for a long time, and you get to see her close-up face. You can see how like sad she is, but she's trying not to show it. So I did love that also. I loved kind of like the way that they added a little bit of emotional depth to some of these scenes. But eventually Elphaba and Galinda, now Glinda, go to meet the wizard. And so when they get to the Emerald City, there's the One Short Day in the Emerald City song. But during this sequence, there is a new little part that's interjected. It's a show about like the origin of magic in Oz. And so they talk about these like old magic users who could harness the power, and up pops Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel, they make an appearance as these like magic users, and it's a really fun scene. Like it was great to see them. Like I love that they had a cameo. I wish that they had been Elphaba and Glinda, but maybe they were busy. Maybe they wanted a younger crowd. Who knows? But they did make an appearance. They kind of sing this song about the like first magic users and whatnot, and it's fun because they also are a little bit antagonistic towards each other, just like their characters in Wicked. And at some point they are singing with the like counterparts. Kristen Chenoweth is singing like in front of Ariana Grande, and Idina Menzel is singing in front of Cynthia Erivo. And at one point Ariana Grande starts to like open her mouth, and Kristen Chenoweth like covers her mouth. It's a really fun scene. Like it's a really clever little interlude here. And so their stories, they talk about how like the first magic users were using magic, and they wrote all of their information down in a grimoire, I guess. It should be grimoire, but they call it a grimoire. And so that is like the book of magic that no one can read. And so that's where we learn where this book of magic came from. And so after their fairly short scene, like it's a fun scene. I love that they're in there. A little bit short. I wish that they were there for longer, but it's fine. Elphaba and Glinda go to meet the wizard. When they meet the wizard, there is this kind of like scene where he shows them the future of Oz. He has this like whole model built out for Oz. And in the movie, Elphaba helps him to determine the color of the road, because he has this like he's not sure what color he wants this like road to connect all of Oz to. And so they're cycling through some colors and they arrive at yellow. So that's another little fun connection between the Wizard of Oz and the Wicked universe that they have in here. But eventually the wizard shows Elphaba the grimoire and she's able to read it. And so she wants to help the animals. That's her whole goal, is to help the animals in this world. And so the wizard tells her that like his like monkey guard person has always wanted to fly, and so she finds a spell for flight. She casts it. These monkeys then sprout wings, but it's not just the guard. All the monkeys sprout wings. They're in pain. She tries to reverse it, but you can't reverse a spell after it's been cast. And so then she gets upset because the wizard and Madame Morrible are talking about how they're going to use them for spies, because now they can fly, and they're going to use them to like keep tabs on people. And this causes Elphaba to realize that the wizard is behind some of the injustices that she doesn't like, especially trying to cage all the animals, trying to prevent them from talking, trying to like turn them into beasts rather than being like members of the society. So she takes the grimoire, runs away. Glinda comes with her. This is where the Defying Gravity song happens, which this is the one that I noticed most where they broke it up, because there will be like a verse and then there would be like a sequence where they're like running from the guards, or there would be a verse and then there'd be like the guards trying to break in. And so it really broke up that song, which is kind of a defining song in Wicked. It's kind of like the main song in Wicked. So that happened. They run away from the guards. And eventually, Elphaba and Glinda have this like. Elphaba tries to get Glinda to come with her. She says that she can't, and so they kind of wish each other well. And then the guards storm, and Elphaba has to like fly away on her broom, and that's where Defying Gravity happens. And after that, after the song, you see a little tiny bit more. Elphaba's flying away on the broom into the horizon. Boom, that's the end of part one. So just like where the musical ends right after Defying Gravity, the movie ends right after Defying Gravity. So there's some parallels there as well. But that is the Wicked movie, or Wicked Part One. Like I said, I think you should watch it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's got some pluses from the Broadway show, but definitely some major minuses. But overall, I think you should watch it. It is a good translation of the show to a movie. So check it out when it comes to theaters on November 22nd, 2024. And if you do watch it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. One of the things that some of my critic friends mentioned is they couldn't hear like the actual words that Ariana Grande was saying when she was singing. I guess she wasn't enunciating as well. I didn't notice it, but I also kind of know the songs by heart, so I didn't really. It wasn't a thing that was concerning to me. I was mostly listening to like her pitch and her tone and things like that. So that might be something that you don't love. It didn't bother me, but I also kind of know the music. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. Let me know what I got right and wrong. I would love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.